Sports Close-Up with my co-host, Mr. Excitement, Ed Marin. This is Mike Fiorillo. Today's show, streammedia.tv, talking about a lot of things with the CEO and the owner, Luke Rio. Luke, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me. Congratulations. What, 200 million shows?
Yes, 200.
You just crossed that?
Our ratings have gone up. They were down a little bit.
This is like bottom of the barrel now, right?
Oh, no. Our ratings went down a little bit when Ed came on, but now they're coming back up. But let's go back, Luke. Let's take a step back and tell everybody where you went to school, where you were born and raised, where you went to high school, and how you got interested in technology and especially media.
Good question. Graduated from Titusville High School. I think growing up, played basketball, was at the Y a lot. My dad was a coach. High school, I played basketball up till about 8th grade, and at that point it became way too serious for me. But I was always a tennis player, so I played high school tennis, played golf, graduated, went to Edinburgh for a couple years. When I was 16, I actually started working at the local radio station, and
Here in Titusville?
Here in Titusville, and that's how I got started. So I started the first couple months as a board op, working high school football games. And then there was a change with the talent on the air. And I came in at a really good time because you had, at that time, radio stations were live 24/7, but technology was catching up and radio stations were putting computers in, so they didn't need the staff. So I started part-time, and there was a changeover in the sports talent that we had, and I had an opportunity to work the wireless mic in football, and then to do play-by-play for basketball, which was awesome because, you know, there's my classmates out on the court, and I was calling their games, and that was a lot of fun. So I learned a lot doing that.
Did they bother you in the hall and say, Luke, say a lot of nice things about me and so forth?
No. I'll tell you, Greg Hauk was the head coach of the boys at the time.
I remember Greg, yeah.
And we were doing a pregame interview, and one time there was, like the week prior to this interview, big basketball game. Titusville pulls it out, and I called him the Incredible Hulk. And so he pulled me aside.
Take off from Incredible Hulk, right?
Yeah. So he pulled me and said, "Did you really say that?" I said, "Yes, but I won't do it again." He goes, "No, that was funny."
Yeah.
So no, kids didn't, but you know, you'd hear things in the community from parents and folks who listen, as you know, which was always exciting. So
That's when Titusville radio covered all Titusville sports.
Correct.
Each radio station in the different areas, like Franklin, also had their own town radio station.
Right. Yep. And of course, the local legends that you had with those stations. So it was cool to be a part of that. And, you know, I was 16, so that's kind of how I got started.
So you go to Edinburgh for a few years. What happens after that?
I was working, this is about this time, Forever had taken over the local stations. And so I was working with them, trying to figure out some things. And I'd always wanted to start my own business, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And a friend of mine said, you really need to get into some video stuff. I'm like, I don't know anything about video. So he's like, get a camera and start. So so we did. In 2002, my wife and I, we wrote a business plan, and somebody was foolish enough to give us a loan for it.
All right, we got time in between here, I guess, though. You went to Edinburgh for a couple of years. You left Edinburgh University, didn't graduate, obviously, correct?
Correct.
You went to work for Forever. When did you meet your wife, Amy? She's from Meadville. Working at Forever helped you meet her? Or what?
Oh, yeah, she was in sales at the time.
Okay.
So that's where we met, and over the course of, I don't know, 8-9 months, you know, that was going well, and I just kept having these thoughts of doing something a little different, and Forever was, you know, fantastic to work for, but no, I just always had other things that I wanted to try to tackle.
Okay, you get married?
Yes.
02, when did you get married? What year? I don't want to put you on the spot.
You're taking too long to answer that.
We've been married, I think, 17, 18 years now, so
Okay. So,
2002.
So she's working sales. You decided to leave Forever and go out on try this business plan. You guys said you put together a business plan. What did you put together? What was it about?
It was at first just to do video production.
Okay.
There was a need. There was a couple at the time some production houses that were closing down, and I think part of that was that transition to digital media.
Right.
So to completely change over was a lot of money.
Sure.
So you saw some production houses this way and south start to close down, and there was kind of a need. So I thought, okay, well maybe I could pick that up, and we were getting some newer equipment, and we were introduced to the digital stuff. So that's kind of where we started with that, doing commercials.
And you say we, you and...
I'm trying to think at the time. You kind of picked up whoever you could. We had a part-time person who just graduated from Titusville High School that was looking for something to do. He came over and helped.
And
from
you were
time to
doing
time.
this out of Titusville or out of Meadville, or where were you at?
Yeah, no, out of Titusville. Wrote the business plan while working in Meadville, but brought the business to town. There was an incubator space available
Okay.
through the redevelopment authority.
Right.
So I got started there, and that was a great opportunity for them to welcome me. And of course, you got to meet other folks in the
Sure.
incubator space to help grow businesses. So that was helpful for me to get to know them and help them with some marketing materials, and that kind of laid the groundwork.
So you're actually self-taught.
Yeah, probably 4 or 5 years. Well, you're still learning.
But I mean, you didn't get a degree in technology. You just taught yourself all the aspects by talking to different people, picking their brain, and so forth.
Yeah, and I think some of the stuff that we started working on was stuff that wasn't being talked about, that, how the internet was going to affect media companies. And so we had a chance to kind of put content on the internet around here, I think before a lot of people saw that as a viable opportunity. Because, this area is, 5-10 years behind
Right.
major cities and that kind of stuff. So that was a gamble. And there was a lot of people that said,
Sure.
well, nobody's going to watch it on the internet. Nobody's going to go there. But slowly, as we put content up, and I think if you make good content, people will find it or are willing to go to it and watch it. So, yeah, it was just a slow...
Who was your mentor?
Kevin. Actually, though,
You still got on?
Kevin Tomany is who we're talking about here.
I'll talk
still
about
got
Kevin
on,
later.
too, eh?
Yeah, no, I'll still talk about Kevin later because
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff to talk about.
yeah, before
Smile, Kevin.
you didn't have. I think Armstrong was in Titusville, but the content that they played wasn't here. Somebody else was running the TV station
Yes.
locally.
Yes.
So I think it was, in Mr. Jim Gross he's a legend. He started in radio, ran the TV station, and he was doing his thing, and I think we saw a different avenue for some of the stuff we were doing. So, we kind of took that path with it.
Now, what I heard was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, you said you were in an incubator space, but people told me you also worked out of your own garage.
I worked
true?
out of the house.
Out of the house?
Yeah, I started the incubator space, and it was one of those things where, as you grow, sometimes you take a step back. And we had 50 kids at the time. No, two kids, and so I had a chance to work out of the house, be with them, and kind of look at how we were running the business, my wife and I, and kind of rebuilt the foundations from there.
So is it fair to say, I think I know the answer to this though, you met a great partner because
Oh,
she
absolutely.
was very loyal to what you wanted to do and also gave you encouragement and support. Else you don't do it.
Absolutely. No, she was fantastic.
She still is.
She is. Yeah. No, she's wonderful. Yeah, she's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful to allow me to, and to push me to do that.
Right.
Yeah, there were a lot of stressful moments.
But some failures, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how you learn.
Absolutely. So from 2002 to about 2006, we were developing all this content. Primarily, we were shooting TV commercials.
Okay.
But we would do some high school football games just to kind of test the waters
Sure.
on some things. Well, 2006, we had this content and we didn't know what to do with it. So that's where we decided, hey, let's try putting it online. And a friend of mine, I went to him looking for some advice, and he said, don't do it. Nobody's going to watch it. And I said, well, I still want to try it. he goes, well, there's a guy that came back to town, Jim Bodemer. Talk to him and see if he would do play-by-play for you and help you out. So I'm trying to...
Well, we're known and respected in Titusville, too, by the way.
Well, at least well known. Yeah. No,
You said that, Jim.
no, very well respected. So we were trying to figure out ways of streaming games, and we thought we had a solution. And I think we tried just the home games. Every home game but one was a failure. And even the one that came across the internet was sketchy at best, but we pulled it off. So then we kind of retreated a little bit. I don't know if we covered the Rockets the next season, but I think 2 seasons later we ended up doing just audio.
Is it because the equipment at that time or not understanding how it works?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think the equipment was there yet, or we couldn't afford the equipment yet to do it. And there weren't a lot of people around saying, this is how you do it.
Right.
But we did in that time figure out how to do audio. So we could stream audio pretty well. So Jim and I decided, okay, let's do sports and just do audio. So I think we got that nailed down. And we did that for maybe 3-4 years.
Okay, so you're doing that, as some people know if they watch Armstrong right now on Armstrong in the mornings, the morning drill, which is yours. It's also on the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. It's also streamed on your streammedia.tv that you have. When did the morning drill start? Did it start about the same time, just streaming it, or when did you decide, hey, I want to try a morning show locally here?
It was once we did sports. So 2010 rolls around, and some software and hardware came around that we felt was inexpensive enough for us to get going and to try it. So, like yourself, we started with the sports show. We did a once-a-week sports show at a local restaurant, and we thought, okay.
Get a free meal when you did it there? Or?
We did. We do it for the free meals, right?
We got to try that there. We got to move it to a restaurant.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, thanks, Ed, for chiming in. No, so we did.
Missed your excitement.
Yeah.
We can't like it.
Yeah. So no, we did that for a year or two, and Jim and I, were looking at this saying, okay, we have the technology to actually start, putting something together. So then, so we kept looking at sports as a way of doing that.
Are you still working out of your house at that time? Are you here then, or did you get here because of the morning drill? Here meaning that, let's talk about where you are. You're
Sure.
located.
Right on Spring Street in Titusville, Farmers National Bank on the 2nd floor. We've been here since 2011. So what we did was, with sports starting to pick up, we thought, well, we really need a strong foundation to build off of.
Sure.
And we thought, well, morning programming would be a good way of doing that.
And that started out just on your stream.
Correct. So about that time, which was 2011, space was available for us, and we jumped on it. And
Which is really nice up here, a beautiful studio.
Thank you.
So you're streaming it, and then to jump ahead a little bit, if I remember right, I'm doing some sports for forever, and the morning host on the AM station, Keith Allen Austin, who is missed by all
Sure.
of us, passes away, and then Allegheny News Talk Sports Network plugs into your show on the radio, correct?
it was the strangest thing. We had sat down with Jim Shields and Keith in March, and Jim and Keith both looked at me and said, Keith works 24/7, never gets a vacation. Would it be possible to pick your show up on, a week he wants to take off? Sure, not a problem. So Keith schedules his vacation. He was going to do the Memorial Day parade and take the rest of the week off. So they put us on, I think, that Tuesday, and by that weekend he had passed.
Right.
And Jim called and let me know that he had passed, and he said, hey, just till we figure this out, can we keep you on? At the same time, though, that same time period, we were ready to launch a morning show called Daybreak News, which Armstrong was picking up like a couple weeks right after that. So it was like a crazy couple months right in there.
And And then from that is you started to do more Titusville athletics as the same period's going on, correct? You did football, you did more games, you did basketball games, you did swim meets, you did a lot of things, wrestling in Titusville. You did a lot of stuff, correct?
Yeah, and I'll tell you though, a lot of that, and by that point, Armstrong's local programming was available in Titusville, so we really got to see what Kevin and Jeff were doing locally, and you talk about who do you look at to see what they're doing or how to do things. I remember watching a football game that Kevin and Jeff had done and the replays and all that, and I'm thinking, wow, I think we have some of this stuff, but it never made sense for us to push to do that right away till we actually saw it. And it was like, okay. So that was very helpful to see what they were producing, because they were doing everything. And it was really a good chance for us to kind of see what others were doing around here. Because up until then, it was us in the dark trying to figure it out.
And probably talk to them and get some ideas.
So you learned a lot, awesome.
Oh, yeah, I still...
More off of Jeff, right?
Jeff liked to talk.
He's
No,
nice,
he knew.
too.
He is. But no, I'll still call Kevin. I'll see something that runs, and I'll call Kevin, like, how did you do that?
Now, explain to people out there that, and a lot of us still don't understand the streaming process. It's different than televising it on TV. It's a little different, correct? And how does it work? What interferes with it at times? Right now, I give credit to Luke and his people. We talked, and then you said, I said, let's try Meadville. And this year, you've done Meadville football, you're doing Meadville basketball now, boys, and we're doing some girls' games. And tell people, like, sometimes we had a problem with a basketball game or a football game, but when it works, it is outstanding. And one thing you need is on Facebook too, and you see comments from people, and get people from all over, anywhere in the country you can pick the game up. Number one, which is a great benefit. But what impacts it? What do you guys have to do to get it out there? That's what I mean.
This was an exciting year for a number of reasons. We were always able to stream home games live. We had that down, and we have Armstrong at the press box that we knew we had a solid internet connection that we could get those games out. But one of the things I've always wanted to do, which always makes sense, right, is to bring away games to the people who can't go to the games. That makes more sense because you want people to go to the home games and support your teams. And we talk about it. There's no place like a football field on a Friday night or a basketball at a court on a Tuesday or a Monday or whatever night they play, which is all nights now. This year, we found the technology that was in the price range and that would allow us to do away games live. So we experimented with that, and I think it's been a success. But when you're on the road, it's almost like your cell phone, right? Your cell phone gets data that you look up, Facebook and emails and all that stuff. Well, if you're in an area where you don't have very good cell coverage,
Like in the Meadville gym.
although the last time we did pretty well.
Anyway, hooking up to the Wi-Fi is going to help us tremendously.
Yeah. That I was, if you imagine your internet like a straw, okay, so when we're away and we have this unit that is supposed to stream over cellular data, you have a straw, and whatever fits through that straw is what you get. Well, sometimes it's like trying to shove a watermelon into that straw where we have, HD video and we're trying to push it out. And these units that we have that allows us to do that breaks the signal up, puts it in the cloud, and then it gets put back together when you stream it on Facebook or our website.
But like, say we're doing a game somewhere, does it come back here to your studio, and then do you have to do something? Do you help it get out from here? Does the signal come here?
Doesn't come here at all.
Okay.
So I can monitor you guys or our games.
Okay, so you monitor the game.
Yeah, on our phone.
We got to be careful what we say now.
Well, you do. So, like everything's in the cloud today, right? Everything's up here. So it goes up to servers in the cloud and then gets put back together. And
so what's really neat though is, like, for Meadville fans, which I noticed people are watching many different states too. Number one, when you're streaming, you can get the game anywhere.
Correct.
Number two, I was amazed how many people came up to me during basketball and said, "Well, I don't know if I have the money for it." I said, "It's for free."
Yeah.
Free. Well, show me how to do it. But they can get on their phone, their tablet, their computer. If they have Roku TV, they can get it on there.
I don't know
correct?
how many people I've helped at the home games.
Yes.
Just to,
Facebook. That's
Yeah.
the easiest way to get it, right? And I have a lot of people. And what I like, as I said earlier about Facebook, is we're getting comments from people.
Correct.
Which is cool.
people are spoiled though too when it doesn't go right. And we're like, hey,
Yeah.
at least you can
Right.
still hear it.
But one of the things that helps us doing football and basketball is the sponsors that came on board early and willing to take a risk. But you guys, Luke, do first-class commercials. It's amazing how good you guys put those commercials together for just a small outfit. And I want to tell everybody out there, if you want to see more Meadville athletics down the road, we need more sponsors. But you go out and explain to people how you do the commercial.
We have great people that go out and sell it. Carol and Nathan work really hard. You know, football is the sport that people love, and it's easy to get on board with that. But there's a love of basketball, and you see that in the comments. And you know, speaking of the comments, it's amazing on a Friday night, you know, doing football, and somebody from South Korea, you know, in the military,
Right.
getting a chance to see a little bit of home. There's nothing that, and we just read a comment from basketball that somebody had posted, and I think she said, you know, she hasn't lived here in a long time, and it really means a lot to her to be able to see that. And it's the little things, right? It's the game, yes, but it's seeing the banners in the gym, or seeing the gym, the court, people
Band.
walking past, the band,
Even
the
when we were
cheerleaders.
at Warren, we had one of the filming guys that asked us how to get on it, and his son got to watch from like Denver, Colorado, or somewhere,
see his-
Utah,
to
to
see
see
his
his brother.
Brother, yeah.
Yeah, so it was nice, even though they had to listen to us.
Same
but-
thing happened at Fairview.
Yeah.
Remember
Yep.
this Friday, a couple people from Fairview went up and they showed them how to get on.
Yeah.
And they go, wow, that's pretty cool.
One of
you
the
guys
coaches,
did this."
yeah, and they said
yeah.
it. And
Yeah, one of the coaches of Fairview, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
But tell again though about the commercials. You guys, just besides people that sell it for you, you guys have a thing that flies around.
Oh,
drone.
You have a
Yeah.
drone. You've used the drone, and you actually make the commercial for people that make it for you. You put it together. You show it to the people before it's aired. You make any changes, and then they get to keep their commercial, which they can put on their own Facebook page. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you know, that goes back to, you know, what the business was originally, shooting commercials. I think, you know, we work hard at listening to what the needs are. You know, sometimes things feel rushed, but at the end of the day, we want the client to have the best possible product. So yeah, if we can add some drone elements, get some nice aerial shots, we'll do that. Yeah, and there's other, you know, tricks that you can use to spice up the commercial. But you know, it all comes down to Carol and Nathan, in this case, selling sports. They're the ones that are sitting in front of the client, or Mike.
Mike, you've done a really good
Yeah,
job with Carol.
and
I-
we
At
would.
least you buy her lunch when you are.
No, I'm serious, but I don't want to do it. Carol and Nathan are the main focal points, and they do a great job. I don't mind doing it because my love for Meadville and the Meadville kids and the community, as you know, Luke, you have the same love for Titusville. But the thing, though, is you took what I want to say is this band took a risk going out there and doing this year. And there were times where maybe we couldn't do stuff, and Luke will tell you sometimes I can be a pain you know where, because I'm always on his case. But we get to the playoffs, and then you're going to testify to this. You know, when we're doing the high school games, thanks to John Fry and the Meadville community,
Oh, yeah.
we do them for free. They don't charge us to do the games. I know there was a little reluctant, like you said, it's going to hurt attendance. It's actually boasted our attendance. Even at home games, people come in, and some people bring their phones
Yeah.
to the game and
So
watch.
they can just listen and
watch
everything.
it. And it is a little bit of a delay, and they
Sure.
know that now. Of course, when they're home, they don't know that. But what I was getting to, though, is when you get to the playoffs, the PIAA puts a high cost on this stuff, especially video, Luke, because they're afraid
Absolutely.
people aren't going to come.
Yes, and that can cause some problems once in a while.
You should have seen the messages that I got from like Oil City because they couldn't watch it, and it's like, okay, we're doing this for free. Okay, Armstrong does it for free, but Armstrong also tape delays it.
Right.
So they don't get it right away. So that's why I was saying there was a lot of people spoiled, and I was
Yes.
like basically getting irritated. And I'm like, hey, look, if you guys want to put money towards it to help them, because it's a lot of money. I mean,
And-
just that Oil City game for the D10 championship, that was probably almost $2,000. That's a lot of money.
But people are getting educated now, especially in the media community. They had no idea how much the PIAA charges for this stuff. And they're like, wow.
Where's that money?
You know, where's it going? We said,
Yeah, where's it
we have
going?
no idea where it goes, but this is what we have to pay in order to do it live. In a District 10 Oil City game, you know, it was well done. We didn't do a live video, but audio was
Right.
live, and so people could listen to it. But tell them, Luke, which surprised me, and you had said this was going to happen, and I really doubted you maybe, and maybe I didn't tell you. How many people go back and watch these games?
Oh,
There's a lot. I mean,
It's amazing
there was
to me.
one that we seen that had what over 4,000.
there was one football game that
I think Warren was close to that.
there was one
it's
over
just-
8,000 too.
It's amazing to me
It
how
might have been homecoming.
people go back, and I think a lot of it is parents, grandparents, the kids themselves, people from out of different places of the country go back and watch those. And those games are there for a long time. The football games are still on. You have the basketball games. And what benefits the people that advertise is their commercials are locked in all that time also.
Yeah, so we try to talk to clients and let them know that it might not be a good idea to put a sale type of ad together. That's really not the place for it, because the videos are going to be up there. I mean, we have video content from 5-6 years ago on there, and you look back and some of the car ads that are on there, it's like ooh, but they're always there.
Right.
And
At least
the
gets the name out.
yeah, but the other thing too is it's a chance, because Mike and Ed, the community is invested in your sports. So this is an opportunity for them to maybe put some of that aside and say, hey, we're proud of the Meadville Bulldogs. We're proud of the Titusville Rockets.
That's
So
how it used to be. I mean, strongly. I mean, back in the 50s.
yeah,
60s,
and folks can have fun with
10,
that.
1910s when Mike was around.
I did those games. So the game right behind you, that thing, I was at that game there. Hammers against the Bros.
That's right.
I was there.
Mission 25 cents.
Well, maybe Vic Kress or Jim Bodemmer,
Or even before that.
Or before, but you know what? It's amazing to listen to a broadcast where some of those stories come
Yeah,
out.
right.
We just had a kid in Titusville a week ago get his 1,000th point.
What was his name?
Guy Anthony.
Yeah.
So, we had a chance to have a discussion of some of those names up on the banner.
Right.
And, I think Jim and Tim McCord were calling the game. And, just to hear Tim say, oh, I didn't know you played with, this person. Those are great stories. Vic shares those stories with
Yep.
you during a broadcast. Those are wonderful memories that get saved and preserved in a medium like this.
I tell you, the other thing it allows you to do too is, and I like to take advantage of it too, is to get people on that either played for Meadville in the past or maybe just graduated. We were fortunate enough to get Journey Brown for an interview. We can do those things and people can see those things, and that's a great thing. And then you can take a clip if you want and put it on your morning show and get more exposure. And I've had people tell me, can you get that clip for me, and we're going to work on that. But it's pretty awesome that we can do those things.
That's great.
It's almost like working for Fox or ESPN in my mind, because to me it's awesome.
But that's not, us. That's the relationship that players have with you guys, or
Yeah,
the Titusville players
But
have
your
with us.
technology allows us to do that.
Sure,
That's what's cool.
but it starts with relationships.
Yeah.
And you guys build those relationships. Football this year, putting Shane down on the field.
Oh, that was great, right, Ed?
Man, I'm glad I thought of that idea.
You did.
I did think
Oh,
of
that
it.
was good. That was very good.
We're going to give Ed the credit. And even for one game was really nice, because Ed went down and it was really nice in the booth. Shane and I were up top.
Well, you know what? I really actually like being down.
You
on the
did. You did
field.
well down there. Yeah.
And it
I
just
told
gives a
him to
different.
stay down there the rest of the
Well,
year.
no, it was nice actually having a different look.
Right. Yes.
And Shane can see a little bit more. With the holes and everything.
All that's good, and the other advantage is right away, Ed or Shane, most of the time he was down there, gets to coach right after the game.
Absolutely.
And those are right away comments you get from the coach. You get it. You can see by his emotion how happy he was. District 10, you can tell him. He said, Coach Collins, I remember saying it to Shane. He goes, one play. We knew everything that we were going to do. We didn't know they had the halfback option that beat us. And you could tell the disappointment he had for his kids and his program. But again, that's not happening. And we ran a little trouble with the cordless mic at times.
Sure.
And again, that's technology.
Absolutely.
It'll get better this year.
And then we kept telling Shane, get away from people. Keep trying to tell
Hey, well, what? Especially the rest when they have some people have it.
And I tell you what I learned this year about the technology is when you don't think the mic's picking you up, they are. Sometimes I'll be saying something to
when Jody Brown was up there.
No, I'm saying, how come we're not on? Or the mic is on. I didn't realize
see,
that. And when I went to listen
He's
to
so
the game,
smart. His mind's always running, so
Well-
he doesn't hear in his mic that in his headset that it comes on.
Yeah, but part of that too is we have a first for basketball. We have a first-time producer.
he's doing really well.
He's
Nathan's
doing
Nathan's
really
doing
well,
a
Nathan,
fantastic job. Yeah.
Nathan's doing well.
So he'll come back and we'll say, okay, let's take a look at this and we'll go over that. But yeah, I mean, it's all growth, and every year, I mean, we.
Get Dwayne, the Rock,
Oh, yeah.
Dwayne the Rock
Caller.
Caller.
who's doing camera for us in basketball, and it's football too, and he's really done well.
I don't think there's a lot that happens, behind the scenes to get ready for a game, and
Right.
with the production that we have right now, I don't think a lot of people realize it's taken us since 2006 to get to where we are, and then incorporate certain elements. Replay was new to us 5-6 years ago, and that's when we brought Steve Bodimer on to break down those plays. Ed, you guys had replays this year, but that's something that
I loved it.
when Armstrong would do a game, they would have replays for you.
Right.
That's an element. The wireless mic element. I told Mike at one time, Steve's really hoping to get a telestrator to be able to draw on the screen.
Don't get one for us, because
Well, Steve's
wanna
not
see
getting
Mike
one
see
either
the
because those are expensive.
yeah,
But
that's gonna be the one.
there's always something
Mike
to
will help
improve
you
on.
with that, though.
I don't want to tell us straight. We'll never get to the next
I'll
play.
be like a John Madden.
Oh, I don't know what you draw in there, but no, every year is a growth, and we have a list of things that okay, this year let's try to do this or let's improve on that. So
But again, I can't stress this enough, especially the people in the Meadville community. It's only because we get sponsorship. You can't do this for free. You can't just, okay, we have no sponsors, we're still going to do Meadville football. It ain't working that way. You need people because of what you're saying. The money goes, first of all, you got to pay the people. You're paying people to announce the games, to, the camera work, the engineer guy, like Nathan's position, I don't know what you call him, but putting all the thing together, the gentleman you had for football for us. You're also doing games in Titusville, so you have two different productions going on at the same time. It's not like, okay, it costs $10. It costs a lot of money to put the production on. I want you to stress that, Luke. It's free to watch it, but it's not free to put it all on. It costs money.
football
And you
is-
have to pay something else. So let's get to that. You're paying for the show it can be on, right?
not anymore.
Okay.
No, we're good
Good.
there. No, football, and especially football. Football is the most expensive sport for us to fully produce the way we want
Even
to
so,
see
there's
it
only
done.
one game a week.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, because you're talking, sometimes you might have 2 camera people, sometimes it might be 3, but there's a producer, there's announcers, we have a wireless mic reporter.
And before the game, during the week, you're going down to Meadville to interview Coach Collins. You're going to Titusville to interview their coach. And then you have to put all that together. You're putting all the sponsorship together into the production before the game itself, which
Yeah.
takes time and effort.
And it's constantly talking to you, Ed, Jim, Steve. What are we bringing up in the pregame show?
Right.
What's coming up, in the halftime and postgame? And then Adam Bodimer, who does graphic design for us, he's in his office working on lower thirds.
He does
or
a good job with the graphics.
Yeah, and we want to, and that's an area for Meadville we want to improve on for next year. But there's little things in Titusville we want to improve on.
Sure.
So every year, we want to improve on it. So this year, I went to Adam and I said, let's redo the look of our graphics. Here's the look that we've had, but let's take this look and see if we can kind of create our own little thing. So he spent, probably a month working on creating that. And then we've applied it to Titusville, Meadville, Oil City.
And you're constantly improving, because even in Meadville basketball this year, now we have a little dog barking, which is pretty cool. You just added that little feature into the production.
Some of it is experimentation, right? Let's see how things are going,
Right.
and then what can we play with? And there's a lot of things we could, continue to play with, and a lot of it is let's just make sure we get the games
I'm just
on.
thankful you didn't let the dogs out.
Okay, now,
See how he changes it, right?
you've done the morning drill. You did Titusville sports, going into Meadville sports, trying to get this man to come to Meadville to do some morning drills.
Yes, we're working on that.
Which would be
And
great.
Kevin's helping with that.
Oh, good. Which would give exposure even more for this, the people
would
in
you
the
have it at?
community. The Market House?
Yeah, I think
maybe?
down there.
The restaurant right there, do it couple live morning drill shows, and we can get the mayor, the police chief, we can get local sports personnel, we get the Jones brothers in, Darrell and Lynn, and people that are.
Maybe do different places, a little local.
Well, that's up to Luke, but as far as getting people in the community,
That would be nice.
Some people take ads out.
And that way
for
they
us.
get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
Maybe, they would be.
Dictating the schedule. See.
Well,
No.
You know
No,
I'm
but
gonna
no.
do
I want.
that,
No, I
right?
want to say. No, I just want to say because you brought it up, being
Yeah.
a pain, right?
yeah.
No.
Mike's not a pain.
No, listen. It is wonderful, though, to work with people that are very dedicated to the sport, to a school, to a community, and you get that with Mike and Ed and Vic. And here in Titusville, we have that with Jim and Steve, where they played for the school. They live in the community. Their kids went through, Steve's kids, Adam, Mark, Sam. I mean, these guys have a passion, right? So if that wasn't brought every day or every week to what we're trying to put out, I don't think we'd have the same product. We wouldn't put out a product.
No.
Well, let's jump back for a second. Let's look at this, because I was thinking of your day sometimes. What time do you get up for the morning drill?
The time do I get up or supposed to get up?
Well, what time do you usually get up?
No, about 5:15.
And then you're here doing the drill, you're out there filming commercials or whatever else you're doing, meeting with people, going to community events, and then you're making sure the production, like if there's a game at night, either in Meadville and Titusville or both, you're making sure that's getting on the air. So you have long days.
Yeah, they can be. Yeah.
Yeah. So you must really love this.
Yes.
It must be a
It's
passion
Yeah.
for
Even at the most stressful time, it's a passion and a love, and I think seeing my kids go through sports programs and being successful in what they're doing, I think helps fuel that too. Because and when you have a player or a parent come up or comment, you look at that and you go, okay, it's worth it. In the end, it's worth it.
Because let's be honest, you're not getting rich doing this.
No.
It's nice that even like with me, like Mike was telling me, that you're trying to do, like, whether it's you're doing girls' games now.
Some.
You want to maybe do one baseball or swimming or soccer. You're trying
Down the
to
road.
at least down the road.
Maybe
So, which is
lacrosse.
nice. So that way, nobody's left out. I mean, I like that idea.
There was a.
Again, that depends on sponsorship.
That's right.
We got to be honest about it.
Yeah, it does. But there was a time, and again, when we started doing this, football was a sport that got covered, and Jim and I had a conversation very early on that it's not fair for the other, sporting programs to not have some sort of coverage. So we made it, a point, whether we had the sponsors or not, to just do it. We had the equipment, but we weren't. The cost of putting it out was just at the time our time, and I can't stress Jim's importance in this growth. And I can't tell you how many times I went to Jim and said, "I think this is it. We're gonna just not do this,"
Right.
and he would say, "No, let's keep doing it." I think we get that in Meadville with you and Ed and Vic. Is, hey, let's keep doing this. We'll find a way to do it.
It's really interesting you talk about the growth. I was going to a local place this morning to get some tea and something else this morning, and this young girl's coming out with her mom. She plays basketball for the girls team. She goes, "Hey, Fiorillo, are you doing our game tonight?" And I said, "No." She goes, "Man, we get gypped." I said, "We're going to do 3 more games, including senior night." And she goes, "Well, why not tonight?" And I said, "It's the championship game of football. We want to watch that." She goes, "Oh, yeah, that's right." That's right, okay. But it's fun to see kids getting excited about this, too. And I'm sure you
Yeah.
get the same feeling here at Titusville. Kids are excited.
Absolutely.
I know when we did the Titusville football a couple of years ago, Luke, for our show here, Sports Close-Up, those kids were saying how they thought it was great their relatives in different states can see them
Yeah.
play. I think that's the greatest thing, when a relative can see their nephew or their niece play a sporting event and they're in a different state.
Absolutely.
I've had people, I know people, my son-in-law is an athletic director in Florida, and he's like, "Man, that's cool you guys can do that." That ain't even doing it there.
And they have the money to do it.
Well, I mean, they might have a game of the week on their local TV station, but it's locally on their TV station. It's not booming out to the rest of the country. We are actually getting this game where people can get it anywhere.
We've heard from parents who can't, they're laid up at home and can't make it out on a Friday. Grandparents who can't make it
Sure.
out. And, going back to, nobody will ever watch it on the internet. they're giving iPads or tablets.
Well, that's everybody has now, right?
Right, and it's easy to
Yeah.
pick that up. So the technology has come to them.
Especially when nobody's paying a nickel to get it.
Right.
That's what people, a couple of people said to me, well, what do you mean I can get it for free? It's not. Well, somebody told me you had to pay. I said, nobody has to pay. I said, whatever told you to tell everybody in Meadville, it's free service as long as we can get advertisers.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, okay.
Well, go back to Ed's point. People, we want people to go to the games,
Yeah.
but we know that they're pulling up their phones,
Yeah.
and they're either listening or looking at a replay, going, "Oh yeah, okay."
Ed does a good job. He goes through the crowd and shows people how to get them on. He does. People come to him, how do I get this on? Because I really don't know, but Ed knows how to do that stuff. And he's been getting people on, either home or away. I mean, away, like you said, went to Fairview. I come down, I go, what are you doing? He goes, Coach wants me to show him how to get the game on the phone. I'm saying, he coaches Fairview. Because nobody wants the game on, because I guess he had somebody that relative that wanted to see their kid play.
Yeah. Well, and again, Ed might not even be working the game that night,
Right.
and he's walking through somebody, or he's texting me, going, "Hey, check this out," or something's
Even when
going
he's
on.
on, he's not working the game, but that's okay. That's
Well, he's
another
interacting with but that's a whole different experience, isn't it? Being able to interact with the
story.
audience.
He does. During
During the
Facebook,
game.
during football, you help people. talk to them.
And Mike gets mad at me so much. I'm like, Mike, I'm just trying to help. I had one gentleman against Oil City that was just flipping out, and I'm like, why don't you give us a $2,000? I mean, why not? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, you got to realize that, we're not Fox or ESPN. We're not going to have all the high quality stuff. We have to, use
You don't
what
have
we
the
have.
money.
Right. So, I mean, if we would have had the $2,000, we could have.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. Where do you see yourself 5, 10, 15 years from now?
Oh,
Have you ever thought about that? What you want to do now? Your your kids are growing up.
they are.
So,
Yeah, I'm going to have a 17-year-old this
Right.
week.
Right? Driving?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Just made the Admirals, too. We're really proud of
Nice.
them.
That's awesome. That is the travel team in soccer up in Erie, which is a big deal.
It is, and he's. It's been awesome to follow him. We've been able to coach, and it's not us. He just has talent. He gets his talent from his mom.
I know. She's a tremendous athlete.
We can see that.
know
Yeah, thank
We
you.
know.
Height, too.
And a very fierce
No.
competitor. Well, I love your
Oh,
wife.
she's-
Very fierce competitor. If you haven't watched the morning drill, folks, you'll know what I mean when she talks about sports and so forth. Because she'll tell referees off.
Well, I try to pull her back from that, but no, she is. She's very passionate,
Yeah.
and
I mean that in a good way.
No, yeah, and she pushes the kids. It's a good question. A year ago, if you would have said we would be doing this, I don't know. This was this developed because of a very sad situation covering Meadville, but I don't know. We've been taking it, a day at a time. There's a lot. We want to. Here's a short term. I can't tell you 5 years,
Right.
but I will tell you by fall. I would like to see us have a much more interactive sports website where schedules are up. It may be easier to navigate where to find the games. Content from the announcers. Isolating interviews that you've done with the coach and sharing those.
That's cool.
I think there's room for a lot of
So
improvement there.
you can be like a library within your webpage, go to different areas for different
Sure.
content.
Yep.
Do you want, now you're doing Meadville, you're doing Titusville, do you want to, at one time you had mentioned to me, maybe you would want a sports cover thing, which would cost, I don't know how you're ever going to do that, but is that what you're looking at down the road too? Maybe adding somebody else down the road?
I think if the opportunity presents itself, yeah, I think as you guys do with this show, you could tell a story a day.
Right.
I mean, our local athletes in Northwest Pennsylvania are doing great
Yep.
things, not just on the field or on the court, but in their communities.
And it's
And
not just so much the high schoolers either. You got middle schools, that actually do good things.
Absolutely, they're phenomenal, and you guys get to highlight them. But I think there's a lot more you can do. When you look at regional coverage, so yeah, I think there's a lot of doors that you could go down.
Are you gonna in the future put more high schools on, just besides Titusville and Meadville?
That's right.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're looking at that. It depends. Oil City, for example, they have a video production department in their school, so their students will cover games. Now they do that when they can cover the games. If they have the volunteers, the students to say, hey, we're going to go out and do this. So we may come in and say, hey, let's help you on games you're not doing, or maybe we can provide announcers, or I think there's an opportunity to do that. I think Franklin. I think there's other schools you could look at to say, boy, this is maybe a model that we could take and put in these other communities.
And the other thing I want to mention to the viewers too is, you cover a lot of things in Titusville. You cover their Santa Parade. You do a lot of things that you cover within the community of Titusville besides of athletics. But the other thing you do, which is pretty cool, and I had the chance of working a little bit with you on that, which I really enjoy, is your election day coverage.
Oh.
You do the primary, you do the general election, which could be interesting this year, both of them, the primary for the Democrats and the general, because you have a presidential year. How long have you been doing that?
We've been doing that probably 5-6 years. I love politics. I love our local politicians. Doesn't matter who they are. We work, again, going back to relationships. We work really hard at creating relationships where the politicians or anybody can trust us, can talk to us, and that we're not going to sit and blab about it. Because I don't think, whether you agree or disagree with somebody, I think it would be very tough to say, this person wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to try to make Crawford County or Venango County the worst place to live. I don't think they do that. I think in their minds, they think, I'm making a difference. Okay, I may disagree with that, but let's have a conversation. Let's talk about that. I love election night coverage. It's a chance to not only follow what's going on with the voters, but it's a chance to have a conversation about what's happening in your community. How are the politics of city council or school board, how is that affecting the community? Are two mayors talking to each other? Similar issues, right? You can name blight, you could name 1,000 things.
Trying to fund your local police and fire.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Budget. There's a lot of common ground. Are we reaching out and talking to others? Because we're all in it together.
Right. And and to go along with that, back to the morning drill, you'll have some of those people on your morning drill. I know you have the commissioners, Crawford County commissioners from time to time come up down, and Chris Soft comes down sometimes, and you're talking to him, or and now you have a new county commissioner because John Amato retired.
Yeah.
So people get to know those people. I think that's a great service you provide. You get school district superintendent from Titusville on sometimes, and when you go to Meadville for the show, we're going to get Tom Washington, our superintendent from Meadville, to express what's going on in the schools and what they're proud of and what they want to improve on.
Yep.
I think that's neat. I think a lot of that's needed. It's too bad you don't have more people, because I think more people need to get their exposure. So local news, local politics, to me, is so important. Not just what goes on nationally.
Absolutely.
And that's what you try to concentrate on, which
Yeah.
is a tribute to you and to your people. And I say your people, it's you and Nathan and Carol right now, so it's...
And Adam, we have Adam.
And Adam, right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's basically just 4 people. It's
It
not
is.
like you have 30 people working for you that goes out and get all this stuff.
Yeah, and we had somebody dedicated to covering news.
Right.
But in this age of fake news, we had issues that came up,
Yeah.
and we had to kind of separate ourselves from that and kind of look at how are we going to cover news today. How is it changing? So that's one of those things where, okay, you retreat a little bit, kind of look at everything, put the pieces together, and then come out with what makes sense.
You also use Skype.
Skype, yeah.
You have some person from Meadville Skypes on the left with the calendar.
Yeah, Jason Sacco from the
Yeah,
calendar. You guys
right.
have Skyped in from a
Well,
local
I
coffee
started
shop.
it, and then all of a sudden he wanted in on my fame, but
Yeah.
then we had to share it down at Tim Hortons.
Well.
But no, it was fun though. I mean, having both of us
And
on.
Greg would say hi. Greg Bush would say hi.
Yeah.
No, those are great moments because on TV you get to see that. You don't on the radio, you hear it,
Right.
but on TV, I love when somebody's out and Jason will Skype in from the Diamond and people are walking past them, or from
Yeah.
Allegheny College, or you guys at a local coffee shop, and
Yeah.
and somebody like Greg comes up behind you and, oh hey,
Yeah.
those are moments that you can't script those.
Right.
They're spontaneous, and again that goes back to the love of sports. you never know what's going to happen, and to be there and to capture that is just another reason we love doing it.
You have a great relationship with the chambers, the Meadville Chamber, the Venango Chamber, the Titusville Chamber, and you have those people come on talking about their activities all the time. I think that's well done, and that's important for those people to get their word out.
Yeah, I think they're the backbones of a community. They should know what's going on, and it's a chance for them to help other businesses and to promote. Listen, again, we're all in this together. Whether you're the small mom and pop or you're the tool and die, you've got 500 employees, we're all trying to make where we live a better place.
And it's interesting too, because it's those businesses that will spend some of their money to take out a commercial or an ad to promote their local high school sports.
Yep.
It is not Walmart putting their commercial on because it's a national chain. It's not those big, not that the people working there, local people don't want that promoted, but they don't tend not to. It's the local restaurant, it's the local car dealership, it's the local hardware store or realtor that will put their money out there. And
Yeah.
we give thanks, Ed and I and Vic, we give thanks to those people every time we do a game because they realize how important it is, but we have to give back to them, and like you guys do, to shop local, and you push that. It's very important to shop local.
Oh, it is. I mean, I think if you talk to a small business owner, they're telling you 10, 15 times a day somebody's walking in. Can you sponsor Little League? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I can tell you there are a lot of these businesses don't have that extra $100 and $150 to give to be a sponsor of a team, but they do it. They do it because they know it's important.
Yeah.
And all we ask is give those businesses a shot, give them a chance.
Right.
Buy from them.
Yeah.
Or stop in.
Yeah, exactly. That's very important. We're in your studio here up at the bank. Your wife works for the bank.
Yes, she manages the bank.
That's good. So you get this for free, which is nice. No, I don't know. That's up to you. But it's nice that this became open for you to move in here because this probably is a good hub for you to work from.
Yeah, no, it's been fantastic. 3 years ago, we had the opportunity to grow in the Oil City, Venango County market, and we have a really cool space down there too. But no, it's nice. We do a lot in here. The morning show, election coverage, interviewing
This
the
bank
coach.
itself is very much into the community. I know I went to the football field this year or last year. Brand new scoreboard is put up by this bank. I mean, they are part of this community.
Yeah, they invest in the scoreboards at the gym, at the football field. They just turned 100, or this building just turned 100. A lot of history in this building. It's amazing. I mean, that could be a different kind of show just on the history here. But it's amazing because you brought up some of the Meadville people who are engaged in sports and have had a successful sports history. It's amazing to me. In fact, I was just given a picture of a lady who was a diehard Pirate fan. I was just given a picture of her with Honus Wagner.
Wow.
But she would hang out in the dugout with the Pirates. I mean, she was embedded in their organization. They have, fields in Titusville named after her. A lot of people don't know that stuff.
What about John Heisman?
John Heisman? Well,
We did the show, John Heisman from Titusville. What a Heisman Trophy is, came from Titusville, PA. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there's such rich sports histories in these small towns, and right now I think you see that with Journey Brown. We were talking last week after you interviewed him. Hey, here's Meadville's Journey Brown, but it's amazing how you have Northwest Pennsylvania claiming him.
Yeah.
You have Penn State fans all over the country claiming him. They're proud of this kid, and they should be.
And it's like Meadville's. The offense coordinator for the Steelers played for Meadville High School, Randy Feet. I know some people are upset with Randy, but I tried to tell those people, third-string quarterback. The running back was hurt all year. He only had one receiver who was in and out of the lineup, and he's still 8-8. The Browns had everybody, and then he finished 500. So before you get mad at Tomlin and Feetner, be happy that the Steelers are patient and don't go emotionally crazy on their coaches. 3-69, all of them won a Super Bowl.
I thought their season
with the Browns.
I thought they had a very successful season. They should be proud. I mean, when everything went against them, they still came out
And
8-8.
yeah, and it's
A
because
lot of
the
their games were close too.
Sure, and the Ruot needs to just relax. You know, they're like the Browns every 2 years to get a new coach. And
Yeah.
sometimes you have to live through pain to get better. So, I'm going to leave everybody with this because I don't know if you, I think I sent this to you, Luke, and I think Ed has seen this too. But
Yes.
you know, people that have kids in high school athletics, I love this saying sent to me by my son-in-law. It says, "Too many kids have been taught that the goal of high school sports is to achieve an athletic scholarship. Here's the truth. The goal of high school sports is to learn how to be a better person, a better teammate, a better communicator, enjoy being a teenager, something that goes by too fast." Amen to that. Because sometimes in high school sports, everybody feels their kid's going to go to the next level and get a scholarship. We put a lot of
Sometimes
pressure.
it causes a lot of problems within the family because the parents are sometimes living through their kids
Yes.
to make them better.
And the kid doesn't enjoy what they're doing. So
That's
when
right.
you said your kid's enjoying soccer and he's playing for the Animals, that's what it's all about. You know, it's that experience because he's making relationships and friends that he's going to have forever.
Absolutely.
You know, he's going to remember when he gets older.
Yep.
Ed, anything you want to add here to close up? Streammedia.tv, how do you get on?
That's
Stream
it.
Sports, yeah.
Streammedia.tv.
Stream, what is it? Stream Sports hyphen Meadville for Facebook.
On Facebook, yeah, you
Yeah.
can
What is
get
Stream
the.
Sports Meadville for Facebook? And you know, you can see any Bulldog games and Titusville games that you have on. You can see that go on Titusville, I guess.
Yeah, if you just go to streammedia.tv, we have links
Okay.
there that'll send you to
Right.
Titusville or Meadville. So
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Luke, thanks.
thanks, guys. Thanks for helping us tell these
No
stories,
problem.
these athletes.
Fred Marin, for Luke Rio, this is Mike Furrow saying thanks for watching Sports Close Up on Armstrong.